The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance, in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little. But someday, the piecing together of disassociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality and our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the deadly light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. Howard Pringles Lovecraft. I'm Roy Michaels. Hi. It is now 11:03, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. Now, if you've been listening past few months, you might not know exactly what is going on, but good. That is the point. But let me tell you, the Mystery Hour is the first, only, and number one late-night paranormal talk show right here on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine, at the moment. As always, we are broadcasting to you live from the basement of the University of Maine, where each Friday we delve into the most remote regions of our universe and the darkest corners of the human imagination. Tonight is no exception. Fortunately, I'm not alone. I am joined by our Mystery Hour intern, Daniel, also known as Dan Man. How's it going, Dan?
Not too bad. I got a haircut.
It's a great haircut at that. And I'm also joined by Connor, who is going to riff for a little bit so I can have a drink of water.
Hello. It's good to be back.
It is. It's good to be here.
I wonder where everyone else is.
That's actually a good question. Do you think they got?
They could have. There's a lot of spooky stuff around here.
Agreed.
I got a really dry mouth right now.
I can hear that.
But yes, tonight we have a very, very special episode planned for you. We're going to cover the inauguration. There's a lot of political turmoil, and we are going to cash in on that. I think it's important that we all come together with our heartbreak, our angst, as we witness what seems to be our country turning into a, wait for it,
Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this show are those of the DJ and do not reflect the opinions of WMEB, its staff, or the University of Maine.
raging dumpster fire. But let me be clear, tonight is going to be a very serious episode. We don't want to take this news lightly. We are going to give it our full attention, and we hope you will too. Nah, I'm just kidding. We are going to use a time machine to celebrate Christmas. Over break, you might not know this, but we are students. This is college radio. We were locked out of the University of Maine, so for about a month. It was about a month, right?
Yep.
Good confirmation. For about a month, we could not do the Mystery Hour, which meant that we missed our Christmas special. And that was a shame.
It was a shame.
Yeah, I cried every night.
I was really upset.
Ruined my Christmas, actually.
Yeah, and I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. I just have no soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I was really upset.
Wrap it up. You done?
Wrap it up.
Like a present.
Yeah, like a
Whoa!
present. Yeah. Woo! Give me a high five.
We are back. Okay. But thankfully, we won't miss the opportunity to deliver our Crimbus special. All of our hard work has not gone to waste because the metaphysics department here at the University of Maine has given us a time machine, and we are going to use that to go back to December 23rd.
They stole my idea, for one, but yes.
Yeah. Well, why don't you put the work in yourself, okay?
Listen, I had a time
You've been
machine.
talking about the time machine for years.
We went back in time. What, a couple months ago?
Yeah, I stepped on a butterfly.
I'll admit that people went a little insane, but I almost had the kinks worked out. So
Okay, well, we are... I'm sorry, I didn't know about that. We are going to use a different time machine. I hope that's fine with you. And I'm going to get started. I'm gonna boot her up right now.
Systems online. Waiting for temporal coordinates.
December 23rd, 2016.
Coordinates locked. Ready to engage.
Looks like it's time for us to go back in time. It's working! It's working!
You have arrived at your destination.
And yeah, so how do you guys feel? Did you like the time machine?
I feel stretched out somehow.
Yeah. I'm glad we all made it.
What was that? Was that music just the temporal waves? And if so, is Huey Lewis and the News, do they play temporal waves instead of normal sound waves?
You know, I didn't even chime into that, actually. I think time travel is a unique thing for everybody involved.
Well, I heard it too, and I figured he passed by us in his time machine.
Oh, that's
I
true.
don't know if you guys got the feeling about this. I don't know if you guys are on the same page, but it seemed like the time machine that the metaphysics department gave us was a little bit crunchy. You hear
A
some
little bit
crunchy,
crunchy, yeah.
some crunches.
Yeah, it was like eating some bunch of crunch.
Yeah,
basically through time.
Through time, but nothing looks different. You know,
Yeah, you're right.
you think we got bamboozled?
Are we in the same spot?
Well, we should be.
Well, in time, I mean.
We are going back. Yeah, it's December 23rd. Yeah, 2016.
I don't know. Did we get bamboozled?
I don't know. Like, how do we tell?
Let's find a calendar.
Look for some Christmas lights.
Christmas lights.
Did you guys have a
Those are
good
always
Christmas?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Got some money. I got a stocking. My parents still give me a stocking. Got some candy in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you,
What about
Dan?
you, Dan?
good. I got candy also. Got some toys. More toys. I was really just focused on the toys.
Got a lot of toys.
I am a toys kind of man.
What was your favorite toy you got for Christmas?
It's like this posable Majora's Mask Legend of Zelda thing. It's super cool. It doesn't actually change shapes, which is kind of a letdown.
Oh, yeah, Dan actually got me some Deep Space Nine action figures. That was really nice.
Oh
though.
wow, yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't get anything from Dan.
What, am I made of money?
Well, you should be. You're on the mystery hour.
I am the unpaid intern.
It's true.
Yeah. Where's that coffee, by the way, that we asked for 5 weeks ago?
Go get the
I-
coffee,
Listen,
Dan.
if you think about it, you time traveled back. The coffee, if I get it tonight, it's right on time.
That's actually a good point. Well, not right on time. We asked
Only
for
a
it
week
like.
late.
So you had a good Christmas, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Well,
Sorry, I threw that one right at you.
wow. Yeah. No, I didn't. I did not. It's not good.
I'm sorry.
Part of the reason why I wanted to do this episode was so that we could go back and fix the wrongs. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, what's up first on the itinerary?
What do you mean? On the fixin'?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep more. I didn't sleep enough
Oh, yeah.
over Christmas break. Yeah, I didn't really think this through. I don't know what I'm gonna change.
Play some video games.
I'm gonna play a lot of video games. That's right.
I might too.
Get on ya. Get on ya. Let me go to my notes here. I think I think we have something coming up. Oh yeah. Well, Christmas, is it's never a good time of the year for me. Let me tell you why.
Here we go.
I could never sleep well in hotels. I guess that's somewhat of an understatement. I could never sleep well in general, but hotels were the worst. Just the thought that the previous occupant of this bed is a complete stranger was repulsive in my mind. But that's beside the point. What I'm getting at is how this lack of sleep in hotels changed my life. Crimbus. We were spending Crimbus in a crappy hotel and not with the family. Great. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I didn't enjoy the all-you-can-eat buffet of soggy hash browns and grits for Christmas Eve dinner. Of course, the first snow of the season had to cancel our flight down to Virginia. It was Christmas Eve, and I was trying to sleep in this bleach-saturated room. My mind was wondering what happened in here to cause such an excessive amount of bleach needed. The room was nothing out of the ordinary. 2 beds. One for my papa and I, and another for my sister and Mima. A bathroom and the stained microwave that looked in the need of a good dusting. Somehow I escaped the room and the stench of bleach into a dreamless slumber. Waking up, I could tell it was early morning. My dad was next to me snoring, and he usually wakes up before 4 a.m. That's when it hit me. It's Christmas. And I was about to let this bad fortune ruin my favorite holiday. Looking across the bed at the clock to check the time is when I noticed it. The silhouette of a man about 6'3" across the room, staring at my mom while she was sleeping. Still half asleep and caught up in the moment, I couldn't help thinking of Santa Claus. I realized how stupid the thought was, and the horror soon filled in my head. I choked back a shriek. I knew I couldn't let him see me awake, so I quietly put my head back down, pretending to sleep. My mind was racing. Someone was in my room and I couldn't do anything. I was a scrawny 16-year-old young boy. This man looked built like an ox. I wondered if I could wake up my dad up in time, but I knew that wouldn't work. He slept like a rock. A bucket of water couldn't get him up fast enough. I was practically in tears. I never felt so helpless. For a second time, I choked back a scream. He was standing next to me, and I could feel and hear his repulsive breath on my face. It smelled like he'd been eating rotten meat for a week now, with no thought to brush his teeth. If he didn't know I was awake, surely he did now. Seeing my face was contorted in fear. The breathing stopped, and I couldn't help the sigh of relief. I would have kicked myself, but there was no need. I heard the room door open and close. I launched out of bed. Nothing in the room was in disarray, and my family was still asleep. That couldn't have been a... I'm sorry, I'm crying, okay.
It's okay.
It's scary.
Dan, can you pat him on the back?
Don't touch me, Dan. Not until you're paid.
Sorry.
Where's my coffee?
I'm working on
Dan,
it.
shh.
Nothing in the room was in disarray and my family was still asleep. That couldn't have been a dream. I couldn't have. Page turn. Imagined it. Feeling awake as ever a horrible idea popped into my head. And before I could push it away, I was pulling the door open. Glancing back to the door in order to memorize the room number, I saw the giant spray-painted black X on the door. Had I seen this without the prior experience, I probably would have thought it was just some stupid kids. I knew better, but not enough to know what it was for. My heart skipped a beat. There he was, turning the corner at the end of the hall. Why am I doing this? I tailed him down to the parking lot. He was nowhere in sight. One moment he's walking out the lobby, the next he's gone. Realizing how cold it is outside in paper-thin pajamas, I returned to the lobby. No one was around. Strange. I could swear there's usually a night concierge. Adrenaline wearing off, I realized how stupid and rash my actions had been. He could have killed me. I cursed myself back up to the stairs. I knew something was wrong when I got to my floor. The door to my room was wide open. I hadn't left it that way, right? I walked inside, and after a quick search of the room, I determined it's safe, and my family was still asleep. I locked the door and got back into my bed, though I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I listened to my dad get up, and eventually my mom followed, but I still pretended to sleep. A few hours passed, and my parents got my sister and I up. We got into the car and made our way back to the airport. Digging through my bag to grab my iPod led to the finding of something that hadn't been in there the previous day. A note that simply held the 5 words I still think about to this day. I knew you were, that's 4, awake, that's 5.
Oh, boy.
It's now been 2 months since the hotel experience. I'm still scared for my life, and it gets worse every day. The note I found wasn't the only one. I still receive them. Thank you.
That's some spooky stuff.
That was Christmas by Cafe Legendary. That can be found on creepypasta.wiki.com, and that was posted under the Creative Commons license. So I'd like to thank Cafe Legendary for doing that, so I could share that content with you on something like this, The Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. It's 11:21. We're going to be right back in just a moment. We're going to go to a break, then we're going to come back and celebrate some Christmas. Just trying to get the break machine working.
Yeah, it's
That was very, very well told, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry that happened to him, though.
Yeah. I think we're ready now.
Okay.
I think
roll it.
we're gonna do this. We're gonna blast in the break. It is 11:22. I'm Roy Michaels, and I know you. You were listening to WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. College radio in a class by itself. We'll be all right. I'm back.
For the best 60s soul music east of Pittsburgh, north of Philadelphia, tune in to The Bud Show, Thursday mornings, 7 to 9. Songs and artists you know, and many you don't, from music's greatest decade. Playlists available on thebudshow.com. Facebook page.
The Bud Show, Thursday morning 7 to 9 on WMEB 91.9 FM Orono, Maine. Or underground, literally.
What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
Hello. Roy Michaels here, reminding you that even though it's January 20th, it's never too early to start getting those Christmas presents. You wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to get that special deal. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Santa's getting hungry. Fetch me one of them elves.
Dan, our unpaid intern, can you grab an elf?
Where do we keep the elves?
Studio B.
Yeah, I'll go get one.
Go get it.
Well, I'm glad Dan got out of here.
He's a good kid, but man, is he worthless.
He's got a good He's got a good heart. I know.
Hey, I got that elf.
Yeah, we don't need it anymore. Put it back.
Okay.
Put the elf
No,
back.
I'm just kidding, Dan. Dan, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So, Connor, what's next on the itinerary?
Well, actually, I have a quick present for Dan, man.
Oh yeah.
For me?
Let's see it.
Dan, I present to you a vintage 1996 Jimmy Carter action figure.
Whoa.
Wow! Look,
Yeah.
he even has a sweater.
Yeah, he's got a great sweater. What do you think?
That's pretty cool. I wish it had the karate chop action, but this will do.
I wanted to get it, and they were sold out.
See, the Reagan action figure would have had the karate chop.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you buy like a little model of Russia, you put it in front of it. And
He just breaks it in half. Yeah. He just trickles down his might right through the board.
Exactly.
Does it come with a miniature like Berlin Wall to chop at?
That's the expansion set. Yes.
Ooh.
Speaking of trickle down economics, how about Urine Gate? Am I right? But anyway, where were we?
Well, when I was a kid, I had a Reagan action figure, and we didn't have enough money for the Berlin Wall, and I would just use Jenga, and that worked pretty well.
Yeah, I had one that he had like a little pull string on the back,
Oh,
and when you pulled it, he'd be like, "They actually believe this economic theory."
well, is that a limited edition?
He would cackle and drool, and he had laser vision that would melt poor people.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that he actually did finish Star Wars. It was him. It was himself.
Oh yeah.
It's cybernetic
Star Wars.
enhancement.
It was a suspension device that kept him held in orbit, and he would look down with his patriotic gaze at the world, and he would
Yeah,
shoot laser beams.
it drove him crazy in the end, though.
Yeah, it did, and it's really sad. Sad stuff.
Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this show are those of the DJ and do not reflect the opinions of WMEB, its staff, or the University of Maine.
You know, speaking of the military, Joseph, our in-house paranormal journalist, he isn't here with us tonight, and that's because he joined the Army. I assume he was doing that to find out about the aliens for us, right?
I think that was the plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Or he just ran off because, doesn't like us. We're not very likable.
I mean,
you are.
Yeah. Sure.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think we're all just dreadful.
Yeah.
I don't like looking at us. I don't like looking at me, especially.
Yeah, the university kind of just, pushed us into this basement.
They're like, hey, Roy Michaels, you look like Hugh Grant froze halfway through puberty and just grew up into a sad teenager that's now a man. Covered in hair. Body of a teenager, but he's a wolf. Anyway, I got some Nair for Christmas. I am sleek. Sleek and on fleek.
Sleek it on fleek, huh?
Back to Joseph. I'm going off the rails. Yeah, so Joseph, just because our paranormal journalist is no longer with us, doesn't mean that he's not delivering the goods. I know you know this, Connor. Dan doesn't, because he doesn't have the clearance for this level of Mystery Hour intercommunication yet.
Dan, cover your ears.
But Joseph sent us a ghost story from the barracks, and I would say it's actually pretty horrifying.
It's very horrifying.
And, if I had the hindsight, I would have pulled it up on my phone before we were on live radio. So I would have it on lock. I could refer to it, and I wouldn't have to waste the time finding it.
Yeah, because I don't quite
like I am
remember
now.
it.
Yeah.
It's so horrifying that my brain can't even contain it. It's just right, Dan. Oh yeah, you don't know.
Yeah. You are just gonna have to keep working that mic, Connor.
Dan, what else did you get for Christmas? What did what did you get people for Christmas?
What did I get people for
Yeah, let's hear about
Christmas?
that Dan Christmas cheer.
Wasn't a big Christmas from me this year. I got you those Deep Space Nine action figures.
What about Caitlin?
I got her some books.
Oh, nice.
And-
Knowledge is power.
Well, they're Yu-Gi-Oh books. They're cool.
Well,
I guess there's some knowledge in there.
I mean,
Okay,
the heart is in the
no,
cards.
shut up, Dan. I found it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I can't break character. Okay. Yeah, so Joseph sent us this text message that I'm going to read to you, but I am going to dramatize it because Joseph, kind of when you join the army, it seems, most people I talk to, you come back with a big sass mouth, a lot of dirty words coming out that the FCC wouldn't be too happy with. Is that good grammar?
Yeah, I would say so. They say words like beans.
Yeah, and we can't anger the FCC because right outside the studio there's a glass seal, and if we do something wrong, they will burst through it with ropes and assault rifles. It's bad stuff. I've seen it happen.
They will.
Okay. Unless, Connor, would you like to tackle this one?
I mean, you look like you're all set to tackle it.
We were in Bay 3 in the barracks, and it was lights out, and some guys in the corner were shooting the poop,
yeah.
talking about ghosts, and one guy was like, forget about ghosts. And not 2 minutes later, he started coughing up blood and had a bloody nose, and he was screaming, my back, my back, my back. And 2 people, they held him up, and the 2 people looked at his back and said, does it hurt along the scar? And he starts yelling, I don't have a scar on my back. And while this is happening, another guy runs into the bathroom to get toilet paper for his nose, and he said while he was in there, he heard one, entity coughing and laughing at the same time, and no one else was in there, and that guy that was like, forget ghosts, was coughing for 2 days. Spooky stuff. No one slept for the rest of the night. That's actually pretty...
Yeah, that's truly a masterful piece of dramaturgy.
I hope they got that guy help, because it seems like he has a medical problem.
Last I heard, he was sheared in half. Yeah.
He was sheared in half?
The scar just got bigger and bigger until he was 2 army soldiers.
Yeah, well, that's good. Two of the 2 soldiers are better than 1.
Well, that's how they train them now, is they get split down the middle, boom, 2 of them.
I don't know if that's true.
That's what my sources tell
Roy
me.
Michaels, want to differentiate myself from that remark. And also the Mystery Hour, WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. This station that you are listening to right now, I'm Roy Michaels, is 1132, and the University of Maine.
Right.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because they get the reptile blood and they pump it into them, and then they can grow back. It's a secret project, and I spent much of my vacation learning about
Roy?
secret. Well, yeah.
You're not going to jump into another reptilian
I just
rant,
don't
are
know
you?
why you censor me.
You just censored me.
What were you saying?
What the? Them getting sliced in half and becoming 2 soldiers.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's crazy.
Where were we? Oh, yeah, speaking of Joseph going away, we had a going away dinner for him.
Yes, we did.
We did. I wasn't.
Yeah,
invited.
you weren't invited. You're the unpaid intern.
Right.
And I started to notice something because this was in the middle of the Mystery Hour hiatus. So we weren't on the air for about 3 weeks. And the great thing for me, Roy Michaels, currently speaking. How's it going, Zach? The good thing for me is that the Mystery Hour gives me an opportunity to get out all of the stuff that just cooks in my head all day. All of the conspiracy theories I digest have a place to go. But without this sort of avenue, I'm like psychically constipated.
Yeah, last time I saw you, your head looked like it was bulging at the seams, like ready to explode.
Yeah, and I was eating Tylenol like Tic Tacs.
I know.
Getting nosebleeds like Ghost Guy.
Like Ghost Guy?
I don't know if the listener can hear this, but I apologize that I keep headbutting my microphone. I am just really jazzed up right now.
Yeah, I thought you were doing it on purpose.
No,
I thought it was like some host strategy.
I'm just like a kitty cat.
Yeah. How's it going, Zach?
Only I can talk to Zach.
What?
So I realized that without the Mystery Hour and without a reason to get all of this creepy, ooky spooky stuff out of my brain, I was starting to become more less good at parties as usual. And while we were at the dinner, I don't know what was going on at your end of the table, but our end quickly devolved into some heavy conspiratorial nonsense. And it started, I think, with the health benefits of jazz tobacco.
Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this show are those of the DJ and do not reflect the opinions of WMEB, its staff, or the University of Maine.
And it ended with Evan Lane, our historian-in-chief, screaming in the Red Room of Pat's Pizza when there were families around about how HIV the cure for HIV it's too big to cure, it's too profitable of a thing to have, and we were yelling about how capitalism's slimy tendrils are too intertwined with our healthcare system. And then we sort of got down to, that Malaysian air flight that was shot over Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, on that plane were a ton of the giants in the field for HIV research. And
like big people?
like
10 feet tall?
Very talented scientists.
Oh, wait, you can use giant that way?
I believe so.
Dan, can you look that up?
Yeah. It looks like you can.
All right, back to you, Roy.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, follow the money.
Yeah, I know. I heard Mary, I think, at some point from the Hudson Museum, our friend from there,
Scary
yelling
Mary.
about cheese.
She was yelling about cheese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was yelling about cheese. And then we got into some more heavy conspiracy theories that I don't want to talk about on live radio, just so we don't wind up missing tomorrow morning. But I made the argument that if I were really an evil entity within the United States government, I would release memes about a certain very popular conspiracy theory. Okay. Make sure it gets on all the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Tumblrs, the Snapchats. I don't think people Snapchat memes. But through this proliferation of memes that we're constantly seeing, it's kind of like making a joke of the whole thing. We are acclimating to the truth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So when it's finally revealed that we will be like, yeah, I know that.
That's a good point. I mean, it's propaganda, basically, right?
Could be. Well, I think the government, they love conspiracy theories because when you say the truth about like the Palladians and the Nordics working within the government with the Greys, maybe even the tall whites, it sounds insane, and they know that, and they know that other people, the sheeple, think it's insane, and the truth then remains hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. Well, they tried that with Trump, right? That backfired.
Wait.
You know, the news cycle for like a year. We're saying bad things about Trump, but he won.
You willed it into existence.
We memed him into the White House.
They memed him in some kind of chaos magic, actually. We shaped the universe around that thought.
Oh, chaos magic. Oh, like dark alteration.
Dark alteration. No, chaos magic.
What's the difference?
You will? Okay. It's all about fractals. Are you familiar with fractals?
I have a moderate understanding.
Branches, blood vessels, they look the same, but they're different.
Oh my goodness.
So our brains are a fractal of the universe. It's very conchoidal. There's mounds, much like the brain, which has a seam through it. And
conchoidal mounds.
Yeah. And don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing.
I'm just saying, if you can reconfigure your brain, you can reconfigure the universe around it.
I mean, I'm I can't say that. A dark alteration master. But I'm not on
really.
So your level.
Are you more of a left-hand path guy or a right-hand path guy?
I'm kind of both, but more to the left.
Yeah, I'm a left-hand guy myself, ladies.
Yeah.
Maybe some people will get that joke.
Left hand.
It's sex magic. Left-hand path sex magic.
Oh.
It's charged by blood and reproductive fluids.
Lactate unto the frog.
We need to do a full episode on this. This entire time, I've been trying to get you to ramble so I can reach into my backpack to get my notes for the next bit. But instead, I rambled about.
Do you want me to ramble?
Go.
I can ramble on.
Go for it.
On the first episode, about over a year ago, I talked about my Amazon wish list, and I had a lot of paranormal technology on there. And it's been a while since I bought anything. You know, I've been doing the show and all that. Well, I just bought this new device, and it's called a Paramagic rotator cuff.
Yeah.
And that thing spins around, and it releases dark and light energy. And in the contrast of the energy, it creates a kind of shadow portal. And you can use that as a time machine now.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think maybe next time we use a time machine? If you are just tuning in, you might be a little bit confused, but we did use a time machine at the beginning of the episode to celebrate Christmas. So
yeah, I should have brought that with me.
Yeah.
Did we get bamboozled?
We should keep mentioning that. I believe we did get bamboozled.
We did
yes,
get bamboozled.
we got bamboozled hard. Gotta bone to pick with those dweebs, but anyway,
yeah,
it
at
is
the metaphysics department.
Yeah. Anyway, it's 11:41, which means it's time for our second break. I'm Roy Michaels, joined by Connor and Dan, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour on WMAB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. We'll be back with some Christmas, maybe.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Roy Michaels, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. It is 11:44. Earlier in this episode, this dive into the depths of the unknown, we used a time machine to travel back to December 23rd, 2016, in order to deliver to you the unplanned, the planned but unaired Mystery Hour Christmas special. And before we went to break, we had this very good segue about not having the show for a month, and we weren't able to get the stuff off our chests. We were getting very weird. We didn't have really anybody to talk to about this sort of stuff, and we went off the rails. So I'm going to bring it back to where it was, where we were supposed to be. And I was going to tell you guys, the listener and my guests, Connor and Dan. I shouldn't say guests, I mean co-hosts, right?
A guest?
Don't threaten my power. So over break, I was reading the Snowden files, right? You know, the stuff about the NSA and the mass surveillance program. And I can do that because very lonely. And I came across a revelation. It turns out that Santa Claus was actually in cahoots with the NSA program. Like they say, you know, he sees you when you're sleeping, when you're battered, something like that. But when you think about the amount of children in this world, mass surveillance does seem like the solution to, you know, keep tabs on all the kids, who's getting coal, who's getting Legos. But yeah, so that kind of that really struck me. But then what was worse, I realized that Santa Claus has been automating his workshop. And this has led to a severe decrease in elf labor. The elf population of the North Pole has really fallen on some hard times, and this has sort of led to a blame on other entities, sort of elf xenophobia, and the blame was placed on the Bumble, and you know, it was keyed into this hatred, this fear of the Bumble. He sort of became the boogeyman of the North Pole, the reason for all of their ailments. This notion was keyed into by the demagogue Yukon Cornelius. But despite the witch hunts, the Bumble is fine because he shares traits with the elusive Yeti. Connor, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Yeti?
Let me think here. What are you laughing about?
The Yeti is a oh my god!
It's like Bigfoot, but it lives up in the Himalayas and other snowy areas. Correct?
Yeah, it is a intelligent simian life form.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably sapient.
Sapien.
Yeah, it's got an average foot size of 13 by 18 inches.
Wow, my goodness!
Yeah, that's a big stomper.
That looks kind of like Dan's feet.
It does, yeah.
Actually, I'm seeing some of these pictures you guys have tacked up in the wall, and I think those are actually my footprints. Yeah, the tread on the shoe just looks like mine.
We went on a Yeti hunt.
We went on a Yeti hunt.
We might have made a mistake.
We might have made a mistake.
Yeah. Dan was walking right in front of us.
Speaking of footprints in the snow, this is out of my notes. I don't even have notes on this subject. This happened to me. I was walking through the Old Town Orono bike path, and I stopped by the bomb shelter, and there I noticed hoof prints like no hoof I've ever seen before. It was 3-pronged, but it wasn't very deep set into the snow. And I wish I took pictures so I could ID it. Maybe I wish I was better at my ecology courses so I would know what it was. But it looked bipedal, very hoof-like, and I noticed it was directly by a portion of the bomb shelter that had been defaced with a giant pentagram. And I think what I might have saw maybe was a demon hopping around the woods.
You're at the bomb shelter by yourself?
I was with my roommate, Sean.
Oh, still just 2 people. That's dangerous. There are demons out there.
There are demons out there, or gangs of middle schoolers.
Yes. What's the difference, am I right? That's why I'm here.
Yeah, so the Yeti, he is white, and he hunts in the North Pole, and you know what? That makes him sort of an apex predator, because nobody can see him come in, and I think that's why he remains elusive to this day. Do we have anything more on the Yeti?
Well, it says here in my Yeti, a guide, edition 2, that he may have been hunted to extinction by primordial man.
Do you think some certain members of the species have slipped through the cracks?
Oh, I think most definitely. I mean, there are still sightings to this day.
Have you seen one?
I have seen one, yeah. And not the Dan that we saw before, an actual Yeti, on my trip to the Himalayas about 7 years ago now.
Wow. How old were you?
I don't know, like 16.
You're probably like, oh, okay.
Or 17, actually.
I thought you were 30.
Time flies. No.
Wow.
Yep, I'd been playing a lot of Halo 3 on Snow Trap, and I figured, let's go see it for real. And I went up there, and there he was.
Oh man, that's really something.
Yeah.
I do. Let's forget about the Yeti. Not a very hot topic for us. There's the Yeti. It's fine. Let's talk about some other Christmas ghouls. You've heard of Krampus, but have you heard of Père Fouettard? Could I just please have a francophone call the station and tell me how to pronounce that? It's 207-581-2339. That's 581 and beef. But anyway, that is French for father whipper, which is strange because he's a father and he does the whipping. The father whipper. Does
he whip fathers also?
He could. If you really think about it, he whips future fathers.
Okay.
He's a character who accompanies Saint Nicholas in his rounds during Saint Nick's Day, dispensing lumps of coal and or floggings to the naughty children, while Saint Nick gives gifts to the well-behaved. So basically, he corrals all the brats and takes a cat and nine tails. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A big flogger, and just whips them around.
Flogs them, just straight up brutalizes them. And he is known mainly in the far north and eastern regions of France and in the south of Belgium. So that's a lot of kids really getting,
millions.
Although similar characters exist all over Europe, this whipping father was said to bring a whip with him to spank all of the naughty kids who misbehaved. And he's commonly depicted, just to give you some sort of a visualization of a man with a sinister face, dressed in dark robes with scraggly, unkempt hair and a long beard. So he looks like Rasputin. And he is armed with either a whip, a large stick, or with bundles of switches.
Bundles of switches?
I think you might have dabbled in electricity during his,
wow.
his life.
Truly a genius.
Yeah, sometimes he has a wicker backpack in which children can be placed in and carried away.
actually heard that he carried little Ben Franklin away to the mountains, and Ben Franklin was inspired by his bag of switches. That's it.
He was inspired by the bag of switches.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah, well, maybe he met up with Krampus. Bill Clinton got a glimpse of hell where Krampus does take children, and maybe that's sort of why he decided to start the Hellfire Club.
Perhaps,
in France, which led to the, satanic undertones of the United States government. But that's a topic for another episode. So you want to know what? Tell me, Roy Michaels, where did this whipping father come from?
Where did this whipping father come from?
Well, Connor, the most popular story about the origin of Le Père Fouettard was first told in the year 1150. An innkeeper, or in other versions, a butcher, captures 3 boys who appear to be wealthy and on their way to enroll in a religious boarding school. Can we do some character acting? I'm so happy to go to St. Andrews.
All right. Keep going.
Surely nothing wrong will happen to us. Oh, look, there's a butcher.
I'm here to get ya.
Thank you. And,
Are you ready for a flogging?
So, along with his wife, he kills the children in order to rob them. Of course. One gruesome version tells that they drug the children, slit their throats, cut them into pieces, and stew them in a barrel. St. Nicholas discovers the crime and resurrects the children. Okay?
That's,
So yeah, Santa Claus, this is evidence that Santa Claus is in fact a necromancer. And I think maybe he got much of his labor before the automation, of course, from elf graveyards. I think that's a reasonable assumption. After the whipping father repents, St. Nick is like, well, hey, you repented, but now you have to be my partner in crime. I need someone who has sort of a bent for violence to punish the bad children. So St. Nick crews up with this guy, and now until this day they go around Europe, and St. Nicholas gives all the Legos to the good children, and the bad children get Mega Bloks and also beat to the edge of their life. So yeah, lesser known Christmas Ghoul. I do not think we will have time to cover Krampus.
So they're working in cahoots?
They are working in cahoots. So basically, St. Nick knew that he killed all of the children, according to the legend, because St. Nick resurrected the children, and for killing the children, St. Nick basically gave him a job.
Wow.
It's kind of like putting an oil guy at the head of the EPA. It doesn't really.
Chris Kringle. What have you fallen to?
Yeah, so we just have 4 minutes left. I want to talk about some ethical questions regarding Santa Claus. And if you are a child or with a child, shut off that darn radio, because we will ruin Christmas for you right now.
Yeah, go to bed.
Do you think it's ethical to lie to our children about Santa Claus?
First of all, you're playing with fire.
What do you mean?
What if there are some kids listening? You just ruin their lives.
What do you think?
I'm going to give you a flogging after the show.
Based on everything I've said, do you think they'll believe me?
I don't think they'll believe you, but is it ethical? Yeah, I think it's ethical. I don't think every lie is wrong. If it brings joy into their lives, right? I had a pretty great time believing in Santa as a kid.
Yeah, me too, definitely. And I feel like parents must enjoy, seeing their kids get all giddy about this old stranger breaking into their house.
Yeah, and watching him sleep and all that. But he does it for a good cause.
He does do it for a good cause. Santa Claus definitely plays a function in society. I think it's actually good nowadays, because if you tell a kid that if he doesn't do his homework before playing his video games, he'll go to heck. That's very far off, and today children are very acclimated to instant gratification. So the fear of God isn't enough. We need the fear of Santa Claus to keep the children in line, right? So they realize, well, if I'm bad, I won't get the new Call of Duty game. That's what kids want.
What is it? Call of Duty, like 28.
That was a zinger. Whoa!
Take that.
I just got electrocuted by the switchboard. And,
Really, you're all right?
You're
steaming a little bit, smoking. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I'm saying. Okay. But yeah, I think also lying to Santa Claus serves a more altruistic purpose.
You're lying to Santa Claus?
Lying to children about Santa Claus.
Don't lie to Santa.
When I was a kid, I lied to Santa all the time. He was like, what do you want? What do you want? And I'd be like, I don't know, some Pringles? But really, I wanted Book of the Law by Aleister Crowley so I could destroy my enemies.
Yeah, I asked for Atlas Shrugged, and I got it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, great book.
Yeah, great book, great philosophy.
Yeah, but yeah, don't lie to Santa. I tried that too.
And don't lie on Santa. Just sit on the knee.
He said one time, did I give you your presents yet? And he had, and I was like, no, I don't know.
Oh, man.
I got double presents, but the next year, I got a flogging.
You got a flogging, rightly so. One time I got a flogging, and it was terribly. The whipping father burst out of what I assumed. Yeah, well, okay, worse. You know those clothes boxes you get that are like the white cardboard rectangles?
Yeah.
Hate seeing those. Every time I open a gift and I see that, it's like, great. It's basically...
Here he comes, he's going to burst out.
Whoa, something from JCP. Okay. And yeah, so it was a clothing box, and then there's a whip when I opened it. And then he came up behind me. He's like, "Oh, take that, boy." Pushed me down and just started smacking me in the face with the whip.
You thought you got a whip for Christmas, but you got a whipping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yes, lying to children about Santa Claus serves a more altruistic function because when they find out that their parents, the most true authority figure in their lives, had lied to them, they will have learned to never trust authority blindly.
We don't. That's why we're paranormal investigators.
That's why we're in the basement out of the University of Maine on a Friday night.
Never trust your sights. Never trust any of your senses. Always seek out the truth. Right, Dan?
Very true. I could not have said it better myself.
The truth with a big T.
The capital T, truth.
Yeah.
That was a David Foster Wallace quote.
Really?
I guess so. But yes, it is now 12:01, which means this episode of the Mystery Hour right here on WMB 91.9 FM Orono, Maine has come to an end. I am Roy Michaels, and tonight I was joined by Connor.
Goodbye.
And Dan Man.
Goodbye.
And Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Good night.
And Happy Holidays.
And,
come on, you guys.
Happy Kwanzaa.
New Year's.
Hanukkah.
Festivus.
Whatever you celebrate, it's okay.
I would like to thank Jimmy Ozok for composing several original tracks for the Mystery Hour, some you heard tonight. And similarly, that's a hard word for me, my roommate Sean for composing some tracks you heard. And also voicing the robot for our time machine at the beginning of the episode.
That's pretty good.
And I'd like to thank YouTube user MYUU for making some very creepy tracks that are royalty free. This one you're hearing right now included, just for the very low price of giving the thanks, giving credit where credit's due. So thank MYUU. I'd like to thank the creepypasta guy, Cafe Legendary. I'd like to thank the powers that be at WMEB for making this show possible, and many others. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, and I would like to thank Pear Bear from Pear Bear's Party Den, I think, for giving me a copy of Atlantis Rising, which is a conspiratorial magazine. And I know you, Connor. And
where can I get a copy?
Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah,
it's mine. But it's great. And we have a conspiracy theory episode coming up in the future and an episode on the CIA. But it's time for us to give it over to Robo DJ and give Roy Michaels a drink of water. But yeah, it's 12:03. You just listened to the Mystery Hour on WMB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. Toodles.